Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is NecroVMX, and you are listening to POTATOCAST. So first off, right the bat, the first, going back and doing videos and uploading everything, it went a little rocky. I wound up only uploading 2 times this week. Two times where I continued East, and I put up 2 videos of East, and I put up 2 videos of the new Let's Play, which is Hollow Knight. Just a lot going on. I'm going to explain that in a bit. I'll just go over everything, updates and whatnot. I don't have a topic this week like I normally do. This might be a shorter potato cast. Last time's the topic was the YouTube partnership program changes and whatnot. So that I had to react to that. That was important. But don't have a topic. Just basically going to read your comments, answer them, and give you guys updates and just explain what's going on. So let's actually, before I even say anything, let's read your questions and comments and reply to those. So first off, we have Nick Jackson, who said, if you want some really entertaining and very well-made martial arts movies, check out the, is it IP Man trilogy? The first one in particular, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. See, this is the thing, though, and this is what drives me crazy, and I'm not trying to come down on you, too hard here, Nick, but this is what drives me crazy about the internet and just, people in general, is that I'll say, I don't really care for X, and then people will start recommending examples of X. Like I said in the last episode that I'm not really into martial arts movies. There needs to be some sort of hook to get me into it, and one of the examples, Kill Bill, the hook was Quentin Tarantino, and the story, that's why I got into that film. I don't generally, want to watch martial arts films. So giving me recommendations, I don't get that. It's kind of like years ago, and this was a while ago when I did my rant about anime. I think it was called I Don't Like Anime, Get Over It, because I said that I wasn't on the channel, that I'm not into anime. I've never seen an anime that I enjoyed, and it just, in general, doesn't interest me. And then people were like, well, you should watch this, or you should watch that. And I said, I'm like, bruh, I just said I'm not into it. Why are you giving me recommendations? That's like somebody who said that they don't like cheese, and you're like, well, you should try, gorgonzola. It's like, bruh, no. By the way, I love cheese. So I don't know. I don't know what IP man, whatever it is. I'm not interested, man. There needs to be some sort of hook. Like if you told me something about it that sounded interesting, then maybe I would check it out. But right now, all you're telling me is that it's a martial arts movie, which is really not my thing. Gims and Woot, I think this person's name is, says, hashtag potatoes, does your channel name mean anything in particular? Not really. I'll explain. I think I've told this story in the past, but I think the last time I told the story of why the channel is called NecroVMX, it was so long ago that, a lot of people that are around right now just don't know it. So I've had the name since I was about 17 or 18 years old, and it was like my first. It was like 1997 going into 1998. It was like my first internet screen name. Was I wanted it to be something like necromancer, because I thought that was like a cool word. It sounded like mysterious and interesting, and I wasn't even thinking of it being as specifically, like the wizard who raises the dead kind of thing. I was taking it from The Hobbit. And, first of all, there's no way that wasn't taken. And secondly, it was too long. So it was, because you can only have, I think, 11 letters on AOL at first. They later changed it to 14. But anyway, so I just shortened it to Necro, but then the VM came from a website called Video Masters, which I was affiliated with. And the reason that my first screen name was that was because I was actually affiliated with the website before I started, before I was able to even have the internet. Because this was back in the day, nobody, it wasn't like everybody had the internet. You had the internet if you had money. It was like you had to pay X amount an hour to be online, which is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, maybe you're old enough to remember that, but a lot of people I know aren't. And this is back dial-up, and whatnot. And we didn't have the internet yet, but a friend of mine, had the internet, and he was online, and he was doing things with a website called Video Masters, and I was writing things to him. I would just submit it to him, like on a on a floppy disk and whatnot, and he would put it up on the website, like, you know, video game reviews and shit. The website's not even around. I don't even want to get into the whole Video Masters thing, but so what happened was we canceled AOL because it was a 56K modem, because it was a dial-up thing, we were making phone calls, and it actually turned out that AOL didn't have any numbers that were local to us where we lived, so it turned out that every time we were on the internet, we were making a long-distance phone call, and that was another thing that back then, you know, long-distance phone calls, which was basically anything that's not in your neighborhood, or, you know, anything that's in a different area code or is far enough away in your area code to not be, you know, in the direct vicinity, was very expensive. So we got this phone bill for, you know, it was like $1,100, you know, and we had to cancel the AOL. We wound up getting a local service instead, you know, and then eventually we got, you know, cable, but you know, when that became a thing. But anyway, the thing is, you know, AOL, they're a bunch of liars, because they tell you that, like, when you cancel AOL, first of all, they don't want you to cancel, obviously. And they'll try to tell you all kinds of shit, like, you know, you're going to lose your email address, you're going to lose your screen name, you're not going to be able to access anything. And they're liars, by the way. If you have AOL and then you cancel it, you still have your email address, you still have your screen name. But they told us you won't have your screen name. And we knew that, you know, and I'll tell you how I know that they're liars, too, because we got AIM, which was AOL Instant Messenger, which actually was interesting. AOL Instant Messenger actually was discontinued just 2 months ago, and it was just crazy when I heard about that, and I was like, wow, like, I don't really know any. Well, I knew one person that still used it, but she's kind of crazy. Everybody that I know had, you know, has like Facebook or some kind of social media, you know, Twitter, Steam, something, you know, to use instead, or, you know, just text or whatever. Like, nobody is using AOL Instant Messenger except this one person that wouldn't let it go. And my friend Andrew had it just to talk to her. And then I told him, I was like, look, they're shutting down AIM. You're going to have to tell her she's going to have to get Steam or Facebook or something. And anyway, they told her you won't have access to the screen name. And so I was like, so my screen name was NecroVM. And then I put the X on it just because I was like, I had to put something there. And I didn't want to put a number because I always thought it was lame when people were like, you know, Hot Gal 2048 XX12, you know, that always bothered me. Not saying that there's never, you know, never. I'm not saying you should. Oh, I can't talk today. I'm not saying you should never put a number in your name. I just got like everybody had numbers in their name back then, and I always thought it was just very irritating. But anyway, that's how I had that screen name, and I just kept it for so long, and I never changed it just because, like, it was like everything, like my email and everything, and there was a point where I kind of didn't want to use it anymore, you know, use that name anymore, but it had been, like, I'd been in too deep and gone so long that I was like, I'm just stuck with it now, you know. I came up with it when I was 17, you know, it's 20 years later, and I'm still using it, but, you know, it's kind of whatever. So that's why the channel has that name. And eventually I was kind of like curious because the one thing that like really bothered me was that I had to build the buddy list from scratch. So basically, like, all the people that I had contacted were like people whose screen names I can remember, and there were people I lost contact with just because I didn't remember their screen name exactly. And I always wanted to, you know, log into the old AOL mess, and, you know, and I didn't know that you could just go on AIM and just type in your old thing, and it, you know, I actually remembered my password, but it was like years later at that point. I was like, wow, it does work. So there you have it. Stormcrow95 says #potato. Honestly, I'm a touch uplifted that you went and actually stopped to commend my wordage. Yeah, I did, didn't I? It really helped lift my mood and with a low point I'm in. With that, I can say that Aaron Paul is the only redeemable one. Since you went back to the... What? Aaron Paul. Since you went back to this with the monetization thing. Aaron Paul, isn't that the Jesse Pinkman? What are you talking about? Or does Logan Paul have a brother named Aaron? Oh, let me Google this, because I thought that's the guy who played Jesse Pinkman on Breaking Bad. I typed in Aaron Paul, and that's what I got. I like, what's up? I'm Aaron Paul, bitch. So maybe there's another Aaron Paul, but all right. So maybe there's another Paul brother that's called Aaron Paul. Anyway, solely for the fact that his brothers are complete. Yeah, okay, so it must be one of the brothers. I don't know if he has the same name as a famous actress. He just kind of confused me there. For the fact that his brothers are complete narcopathic, obtuse, vapid, nihilistic, and ovary-enabled harmonic cocksuckers. Think about that as hard as you want on your own volition, like a fuck harp. Actually, I thought not like a fuck harp, but like like a harmonica cock. That aren't worth the attention they manage to grab from making fun of suicide and banking on prostration. Especially when considering Hitomi feeling like it herself. Best wishes to her and your circle as they keep fighting the good fights. Now on to my question, are you into surrealism by any chance? Because if so, you might like some of the jokes from A Softer World. If you also like webcomics and haven't already read through it, yeah, I just farted, sorry guys. It's disjointed, amusing in a dark way. With that, I can see it making it easier to deal with depression by making you think about stuff out of everyday life, some laughs, etc. I do like surrealism. I like all kinds of humor, really, except for like puns, which really kind of annoy the piss out of me. But, you know, the way that I personally deal with depression is I actually watch stuff that's super depressing. Like, I like tragic shit, stuff that's super depressing. The only thing that, like, I won't watch is anything with, like, cruelty to animals. Like, I don't like the, you know, like the movie where the dog dies or whatever. You'll never catch me watching, you know, like Marley and Me or whatever. But I do like depressing stuff for some reason. That helps me. Like, I have a friend whose name I'm not going to mention because he's probably listening and commenting, and he's not going to want me to say his name. But he went through a severe suicidal phase in his younger years, and he said the song "Fade to Black" by Metallica got him through. And I was like, well, but that's a song about a guy who kills himself. But he says somehow it helped, and I kind of agree with that. Like, for some reason, depressive stuff helps me personally. Okay, Berserker0001, who really needs to message me on Steam, by the way. I've been trying to get in touch with you. But anyway, says, hashtag potato. Well, looks like there may be a new addition to the Dead Medium graveyard. There are a couple open tombs right next to MySpace, Vine, and vid.me. Seriously, though, this lunacy Susan Wabachaki is setting up, sorry about that, is basically going to utterly decimate anyone wanting to attempt it over time. YouTube might as well change its name to Soul-Eating Mega Corporation Tube. Slogan, broadcast us some money, peons. Random question that popped up for some reason. How do you feel about card games like Magic the Gathering and others of the like? I have zero interest in it. Like the Magic the Gathering, the Pokemon trading card, the Yu-Gi-Oh, no. It's just it's a no from me, dog. Like I'll play Cards Against Humanity on occasion, but that's about as far as it goes. It's a no for me. Like it's too annoying for me. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about the people that are into it, because I know a lot of people that are into that kind of crap, but it's a no from me, dog. BioPhoenix says, hashtag potato. Out of all the East games you played, which is your favorite? I'm going to read the rest of your comment, but let me answer that. That's a tough one, because I really kind of like them all. But wow, I really like the remake of East 4, the one that was on the Vita, Memories of Salsetta. I don't know that it's my favorite though. East 7 was really great. You know, it probably is Memories of Salsetta. I haven't played 8 yet because, you know, waiting on the Steam release, and even if it came out on Steam like today, I don't have money. My fucking account is overdrawn right now, so I'm not buying any games anytime soon. But yeah, trying to make money on YouTube is just a mess, and I think money has always got the worst out of most people that they do try to make money on here. I fully agree with your message. Yeah, I mean, like, I think I always said, if you're in it for the money, you shouldn't be on YouTube. You're doing it wrong. I mean, it's one thing to do well at YouTube and get a little something to reward you, get a little, you know, because YouTube makes money off of you whether there's ads or not. But they decided to share some of that money with their partners, and that's cool, but, you know, that's all it is. It's revenue sharing. It's not a job. They don't take taxes out of it. It's a whole messy thing, and, you know, it's cool to get a little something as a reward, but YouTube never should have tried to imply that it could be a career, nor should people have ever come to that conclusion independently. Nenson Dubois says, hashtag PotatoCast. I used to putting the shitty Nestor and SNES 9X ports on my Dreamcast. Remember bubghost.mp3 that came with the SNES 9X? Actually, no, I don't. I use SNES 9X now, but back in the day when that was probably a thing, I used like ZSNES, so I don't know about any MP3 that came with it. If you tell someone not to do something, chances are they will do the opposite. Moving sucks balls. I had to move all of my heavy furniture all by myself one time. That sounds rough, bro. I have a Mega EverDrive X7 and can play all the good Sonic games and prototypes, and I got an SNES Classic as a gift. Also, how do you feel about Disney owning Fox now? I'm of mixed feelings about that. I did talk about this earlier. I'm going to go over this very briefly because I know I talked about it. It's cool for like the whole Marvel thing for them getting access to the X-Men and Deadpool and all that, and possibly even integrating that stuff into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been amazing. But then there's also the part of me that is thinking that Disney is sort of gobbling up too much. They're kind of becoming almost too monolithic, and it does kind of worry me. Like what is the next thing that they're going to buy? Like, are they going to buy or attempt to buy like Warner Brothers or Sony or something? And then it's like it starts to get me a little antsy because there should be, a little more competition and whatnot. But I'm okay with Fox, really. Lisa Simpson is a Disney princess now. Let me also, Logan Paul is just another. You bleeped yourself. I don't know what that says. You can type curses on YouTube, man. It ain't gonna offend me. So a bleep sensationalist who is not worth my time because he doesn't deserve my respect for various reasons. And once again, you are correct about the issues. Definitely reasonable. I'm not stopping my channel regardless of getting the letter. Nor should you. I mean, it sucks if people are getting some money. And what kind of drives me crazy about that is YouTube's defense is, oh, well, these people weren't really making much. They were making like a couple of bucks. But it's like, well, why can't you give them a couple of bucks? If it's such an insignificant amount of money, why take that away from them and take away all the tools that they could use to grow their channels to bigger heights instead of just saying we don't want them to grow? So that's kind of the way I see it. The Game Master 8 says, "Hey Necro, it's great to hear the move, while not so smooth, is done, and that things are starting to look up a bit concerning your dad. As for Hitomi, here's hoping that she gets home in time to start work, and that things will start to look up from there. As for your opinion on the FCC vote, thank you for keeping a level head and not preaching an apocalypse like many I have seen. As for the Sonic question I asked last time, I didn't realize your stance, as if I had, I wouldn't have asked. Sorry about that. Finally, the YouTube thing. I had to agree with you and believe that YouTube is constantly trying to fix a busted steel structure with duct tape instead of a welder's torch while crossing their fingers and hoping for the best. I have to stop and disagree with you because the miscommunication here is that YouTube is broken. YouTube is not broken. The problem isn't that they're trying to fix something broken and going about it the wrong way. The problem is they're trying to fix something that's not broken. YouTube itself is not broken. People like Aaron Paul, now I'm calling him Aaron Paul. People like Logan Paul are the broken ones. People like Logan Paul, who, yes, they made a mistake in telling people that they can make a living off of this, but here's the thing. What happened in Japan is Logan Paul's fault. It's not YouTube's fault. Now, what is YouTube's fault was curating the video and putting it, like on trending, but that was just them just saying money, money, money. Here's the thing. It's not trying to fix a busted steel structure with duct tape. It's trying to knock it down, essentially, and rebuild when they don't need to. They don't need to. They just need to, make sure that the rules that apply to somebody with 15 subscribers also apply to the people with 15 million subscribers. And that's what the problem is. It's not that, that YouTube is so busted. It's just that it became very unbalanced. Let me finish your comment here. Or was that it? Here it is. Well, no questions this time. But again, good luck getting a new job. Take it easy, Necro. Well, thank you. Heisensall says, #Potato, I'm glad to hear your father's cancer didn't spread to his lungs. I wish the best to you and your family in this difficult time. As far as the monetization goes, all I have to say about that is I'm glad you don't give a shit about the money. We wouldn't want it any other way. As always, take care, Necro. And of course, I will have an update on my dad. So just, I'll just talk about that a little later. Let me move on. SSerpent21 says, #Potato. When you talk about Logan Paul and aiming low, only one thing came to mind. What Lisa told Mr. Bergstrom, you never lose appealing to the lowest common denominator. Oh, and from all the comments about sub for sub and needing subs, this came to mind. Guy jerking off, guy jerking off, guy jerking off, guy jerking off. Oh, from South Park, yeah. Hitomi's landlord sounds like an even bigger cocksucker than I thought. I hope she holds together enough through all this. She has come too far. I agree with you on both points. Her landlord is a major dick smoker, and I also am hoping that she pulls through this. The Moogle Master. He says, here's a question I'd like to know. Whenever Firefox has to restore my tabs, they're messed up. I have reset ever due to my What are you talking about, dude? I have reset ever due to my internet slugging down on me. I think Moogle Master had a stroke. And when Firefox tries to restore my tabs, sometimes they're in a wrong state. For example, that was a sentence right there, capital letter and a period after the word example. For example, he put, my tabs are in a state from when I bookmarked them in October of late year. What? What are you talking? Did you leave this on the wrong video or something? I don't know what you're talking about. For example, if my tab for YouTube was on, let's say, your video, when it restores the tab, it keeps opening up a video I watched called Why MTV Doesn't Play Music Videos Anymore. I last watched that video in October of 2017. Any way to fix this? How the hell would I know? First of all, I'm having a hard time parsing what you're saying. I believe you're saying that when you close on Firefox and you open it up, it's not restoring the tabs properly. I never had that problem. I don't know why you're asking me. It's a weird comment. All right, last one is Big Ham, Ohio here. Hashtag potato. I'm genuinely overjoyed to hear that your dad is approved for surgery. I've been in desperate need of some good news lately, and I guess I got it vicariously through you, but I'll take it. Well, you're going to get more good news in just a bit. So, hang tight, Big Ham. Glad to hear the move went well and things are back on track. I'm glad my favorite YouTuber is back at it. For my question, when should I start submitting new lists to list critics? So, here's the thing. I haven't talked to Peyton, I've talked to Peyton, but I haven't talked to Peyton about list critics. I haven't talked to Jesse about list critics. I haven't been thinking about it recently. But you could submit at any time. There was never a point where you couldn't submit. You submit, I'll save them, and we'll do them whenever I come back. I don't know when it's going to be. It might be this month. It might be in March. Haven't given list critics a whole lot of thought because I'm still, settling everything down and trying to figure shit out. But you can go ahead and submit. I look forward to new videos again. Glad you're back, Matt. Thank you. Okay, so yeah. So like I said, I didn't upload a lot this week. It's just been crazy. Okay, so here's the long and short of it. My dad had the surgery. As I talked about previously, they did the scan, and whatever it was on his lung was not cancer. It did turn out that it was a blood clot of some sort, so now they're going to be looking into that. So we'll figure out, what the blood clot in his lung is all about. But it seems to be unrelated to the whole liver cancer issue. So the cancer was only in his liver. He had the surgery, and it was, for lack of a better term, a success. They removed, I believe, about half or possibly 2/3 of his liver, as well as his gallbladder and part of his diaphragm, and of course the entire cancerous mass. So we believe that he is currently cancer-free. Went to see him in the hospital the day after the surgery, and he was a little out of it because he was hitting the morphine button. But I said, hey, you don't have cancer, And by the way, Sloan Kettering, amazing place. I finally got to go there when I visited him, and it's just like everything that my mom said about it is just true. It just doesn't seem like a hospital. It doesn't smell like a hospital. Everything is clean, but it's not like antiseptic. It's just it almost seems like it's office buildings instead of a hospital. We went to the cafeteria afterwards, and thinking like, oh, gross, hospital cafeteria. Oh my God, they had like a fucking station for Mongolian barbecue. It was insane, which was actually really good. But anyway, he had the surgery. He's actually home already. He was only in the hospital for a couple of days after that. He's home and recovering. He's still, he's moving around real slowly. He's actually going back to the hospital on Tuesday. He's going on Tuesday to get his staples removed and also to visit with the oncologist and to see about like maybe like what the deal with the blood clot in his lungs. But oh, and he also has a drainage bag from his wound that they're going to take out on Tuesday as well. So, he's been home. The hardest part, honestly, and this is going to sound funny to you guys, but the hardest part was dealing with the dogs, because the dogs actually, Gunny and Gibbs, the two dogs we have here, I'll do a video with them one day. They're these super cute. I actually put them a video up at them once, like when my mom first got them. But they're these super adorable pit bull puppies, and they are just amazing. And ever since I've been actually living here, like Gibbs in particular has become incredibly attached to me. He won't leave me alone. I sit here, working on stuff on my computer, and he's like sitting right under me, And and Gunny is super great as well. He's just an adorable dog. But the thing is, they have this thing where when no matter how well they know you, when you first come into the room, they go ballistic, oof, 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 and they come over and they jump on you, and we're trying to teach them not to jump, but they're still puppies, and it's a hard habit to break them out of, and eventually they calm down. Like, you give them a few minutes and then they're not jumping anymore, and then they're calm, and then they just want to lick your hand or whatever. But we're thinking, like, my dad's going to come home, he's going to be weak, he's going to have this giant incision. It's crazy. We can't have the dogs jumping on him. So, they've been pretty good, but at first, like, they were not right when he was gone. Like, he was gone to the hospital for, I want to say like 5-6 days, and they were not normal. Like, they were a little off because he wasn't around. And then he came home, and I had them with the leashes on, and they went insane. And it took them like an hour almost to calm down to the point where I could let them, go up and sniff him and whatnot. They've been pretty good after that, but it's like a constant thing to just make sure that they don't get a little too excited and jump up on him or whatever. That's been the big thing. And then, just day-to-day life as he recovers. So that's the update on my dad. Obviously, now here's the thing. Like I say, we believe that they got all the cancer. We can't know that for sure, because even if they left behind a single cell of cancer, it could grow into a new tumor. So he's going to be watched. He's going to get regular screenings for at least the next 5 years. At first they were saying 5 years, and then the doctor was like, maybe a little longer. And my mom's kind of like, she's so over the moon about these people at Sloan Kettering and how amazing they are. She's like, they could watch him for the rest of his life for all I fucking care. So he's going to be constantly watched to see if it comes back. But I had to say, to anybody who out there who's dealing with cancer, who may deal with cancer in the future, if it's at all feasible, go to Sloan Kettering in New York City. It's the most fucking amazing cancer center there is. So then I got to talk about the depressing stuff. Then I got to talk about Hitomi, because she's back in Japan. The good news, she got enough money to get a ticket back home, and she actually started her job. The unfortunate thing, and this is going to just outrage people, because it outrages, well, it doesn't outrage me, it should, but I'm just kind of like over it at this point, because I just hear these things and I'm just like, oh, fucking hell. They're not paying her for the period where she's training. They don't have paid training. And I want to be outraged and say they can't do that. But they don't have the laws that we have here. Like here, there's a law that if you're working, whether you're training or what, you have to get paid for it. They can't just say, no, we're not paying you. Japan, they don't have those laws. I understand it's a completely different place. It just makes me angry because she needs the money really badly. And then, there's the whole thing with her maybe not being able to make rent. And she's already late on the rent. She's super fucking depressed, super fucking worried. She's got all this anxiety. She hasn't been sleeping. She hasn't eaten. She's been living on fucking energy drinks she gets out of a vending machine. And she's talking about some pretty dark shit. So I'm really trying to, help her through this. I've been trying to contact some people, but, it's been difficult to get a hold of people. So, by the way, Al, if you're listening, please, answer my email or answer her email, Berserker. I try to get in touch with you on Steam. Please message me. It's kind of important. We need to get her rent paid, because here's the thing. She already told her boss. So this is the thing that drives me crazy. Hitomi is so ridiculously honest. Like, she won't lie to anyone for any reason. And there's a huge part of me that admires the hell out of it. I mean, I myself am a very honest person, and I hate lying, but you know, I will do it to survive, where she will always tell the truth no matter what. And that just kind of like, I admire it, but at the same time, it's just like, oh my god. So she told her boss that she might be losing the apartment. If she loses the apartment, she can't work there. So he's just like, well, you know, you have to tell me by this and this and that. So, you know, we don't know what's going on. Like, if she loses the apartment, she loses the job, and then I don't know. Then I lose contact with her. We're coming to that point anyway, because she, you know, I might be losing contact with her soon anyway, because she, you know, can't pay, you know, things like her phone and whatnot and internet. So, you know, the U-Carrying link is going to be in the description. I'm asking you guys, if you can kick something in, even if it's a small amount, please do so. If you can share the link, please do so. Because, you know, like I said, if we can just get her to the point where she's actually making money, where she's at this job and actually getting a paycheck, then we might be able to finally unclench and take a deep breath and breathe deep and just not worry about her so much anymore. But that's the update on Tell Me. There's the dogs going nuts. Connie, that's enough. You don't need to be barking. It's way too late to be barking. Actually, I'm going to wrap it up here, because I think they're barking because I'm talking, even though I've been talking for a half hour. And I don't really have much else to talk about. I don't have like a topic this week. I just wanted to update you guys. You know, regular updates, uploads going to start again on Monday, not Sunday. Well, maybe Sunday. Maybe, but I'm not. I don't have an Isaac video ready to go. If I have the time to throw one together, I'll put up an Isaac Sunday. Otherwise, no. I do have like a lot of shit going on tomorrow. But regular uploads will resume on Monday, and hopefully we'll get, you know, all 8 videos out this week and not just 4. So we'll see you guys next time. Leave me your questions and comments, and I will read them hopefully next week.